medawase na mabo mabaso.
Okay.
Nsem-Pii TV mosomo ye mafamu de boa media space no ene nsemu a ebinum ante eche na mo de call YouTube.
Nsem-Pii TV nie.
For breaking news about Betodra here. Breaking news about Betodra is any na say anaju ye ameno ka say enche kra and NDC boys be na memman kwa video be of course yetimanya 30 seconds video be mebo amoahwe but enyumre na ye ukopi mu voter regional constituency afre Hohoe ye nyina nim say Hohoe there the year since 1992 bepem up to 20 na sa seat no NDC dia ana nyame adoma MP obedi so John Pierre Amewu Peter Amewu eje seat ni free NDC for nsem from the year 2020 the bepem 2024 na Amewu G seat no 2024 wantimi ama ban mu biem ama say Amewu etene baby a odwen ho na Amewu fie Peter Amewu mekere MP Peter Amewu ni fie a ewo Hohoe ena sabra me no ka say NDC boys agba pim ewo fie ho na for video no me hwese obi a menya that side call no kretu yes etu kura no call Peter Amewu fie call fie around 6 p.m. yeah and call fie ho no na nyame adom na City FM for ni channel 1 TV central for kakra ona ne nkrofo ne kasa no ni bako ne central for kasa asem o ka chere ni say ye court bailiff ye bailiff na the bailiff here o ko saman obi o court sma obi say nipa na wa be saman ye mfa krata nkohye ni na say nipa na ye sma no mo de krata kohye obi nsem no ayese wo hene asaman o se Ibrahim fi chiame o ba be kan kire wo say asaman wo no ne friend bailiff enti City FM for ne omumu ba ko kasa na asema omumu ba ko kan ne say oye adwuma o court na court asoma ne say onfa court nkrata mbre Peter Amewu ana central ni buzan so okay court case bear asema omumu be kan ne say the year 2020 Peter Amewu be MP no sebi wanfa kwampa so na be MP no enti enam sa no so enti no obi di Peter Amewu akọ court na court na hye say omo boys no mfa krata ambre Peter Amewu enti ba no maba Peter Amewu fie na omo kra tu abegina fie ho no omo ba ho based on the fact say orders from above atifo boys no mo call Peter Amewu fie no ye buso omo say denti no omo call ho on the orders of above na say enye omo apɛ no omo dia ba na mum tumi bi ebro so na ahye omo so omo mbra Peter Amewu fie emfa tu ne sekan mra o ye muso omo se tumi be omo se court na asmo omo so omo mfa nkrata mra o na anye bia se court ka se fa krata mra obi a anye bia ye di tu ene ede krata ne ba na eno ye one now omo wie no na city for eto nsafre Peter Amewu na o se nya voice no ma bet Peter Amewu omo fra Peter Amewu lucky nyame mamenka me so omo ko fie ho no nyame adom na Peter Amewu eni fie ho no omo duru fie ho na Peter Amewu no enti ekrom wo for omo one round and pia bontin ebe fight omo ana de besisi ya asa na me no ka say obia mfrim obia tenkom obia enya problem obia enwu etu omo tutu ko wiem keke be Peter Amewu mantem wo for no ba bontin be pam omo ko ya enti City for free Peter Amewu na same way na Peter Amewu the can't say make Koti Peter Amewu. They said they were there to serve me a notice because I was not duly elected in 2020. Hence their decision to serve me. And that the CI was not constitutional. Enti Peter Amewu free City for free Peter Amewu. Peter Amewu and Peter Amewu the two City for say owate say ni fie Hohoe amanfo aba ho. Na ofre busan no omo ka kire ni say boys bi no omo ba no by say omo the court to krata eba be show no Peter Amewu say but enye sa na Ghana ye mmra ne tie se ye mmra ne nka se o de enkrate be show bi nsem e wo se o di tu ene asekan ene be fie ho no na nyame adom Peter wono Peter ma unde no ni ho but opeso kama Ghana fo nyina te se ne ho ye bebi wo de o nka ne ho ye be o Ghana ha na de obeka ne se was it despite the attack Peter Amewu has declined police protection. It is Ghana Police Service reach out to Peter Amewu saying come protection because say obedience kind need to obey ko fie die ka yem fa a police for me born home but Peter Amewu say onzuro bia wo memu ana oni boni nti Ghana Police man police protection 34 the course now Jebrene video 30 seconds ya edie ni ne de si ofi wa nkasa na uwia odo adwen share ato comment section on medo as bebre
Mawe Mede papa
Information reaching Good Evening Ghana suggests that the raid that has occurred at Ken Ofori-Attah's house earlier this evening, Tuesday 11th February, was not conducted by police officers. It was conducted by military officers. Now, they don't know that somebody on the top of the building next door was filming, and that video has been made available to us. So, was filming how they entered, and then the video remained until they came out. What happened inside, the video couldn't capture because the person was on the building. The soldiers, those of you went there, you will see that to your left, there was a story building there. A very prominent person lives there, and she was concerned about what was happening. So she filmed it, and she sent it to us. So the video indicates soldiers, numbering about 15 of them. One of them is half camera, so we really couldn't check. But at least there are more than 10, numbering about 15 military soldiers, not police. They raided Ken Ofori-Attah's house at Cantonment earlier today. Now, everybody was pointing to Dr. Kufu Dampare. It's not about Dampare. It's not Dampare. Apparently, the Honorable Kisi Ajabin is responsible for this. And we don't know why. Kisi Ajabin is responsible for the raid on Ken Ofori-Attah's house this evening. Now, why are we saying this? Because we have now also seen letters that have been written from Kisi Ajabin to Ken Ofori-Attah asking for Ken Ofori-Attah to be questioned on issues relating to SML contracts. Viewers, you remember that, the famous or infamous SML contract. So Kisi Ajabin has written to Ofori-Attah asking him to answer questions on the SML contract. I'm not so sure who asked him to do that, but the OSP can have a mandate originating from his table. He can originate a mandate based on the broad mandate that he has. He can originate a mandate and say that I'm coming to ask you questions. He can do that. So in exercise of that authority, Kisi Ajabin, the special prosecutor, wrote to Ken Ofori-Attah. Lawyers for Ofori-Attah responded to Kisi Ajabin indicating that the witness was not in town. Ken Ofori-Attah was not in town. He's in America on health grounds, and that they are able to answer questions on his behalf so long as he can produce the questions. Lawyers also promised that as soon as Ofori-Attah arrives in Ghana, they will submit him to the office of the special prosecutor. As far as the lawyers were concerned, this was the conclusion of the matter. Now, they were told today that their client's house has been raided by soldiers. Quickly, calls went to the police IGP, asking Dr. Dampare, what is all this about? Dr. Dampare is thinking about himself, and that's what he told them, that I have not sent anybody to raid anywhere. The people who went there were soldiers. I don't have control over soldiers. I just have control over police. So the military, and this is the so I don't know whether the defense minister, Dr. Manibuama, is aware. But please tell Dr. Manibuama that I was mentioning his name. He's the Minister for Defense. And his soldiers, numbering over 10 of them, under the instructions of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, as widely believed, raided Ofori-Attah's house today. Military, not police, military. They raided Ofori-Attah's house today, 3-4 hours ago. The story is on City FM. Let's get a glimpse of how Channel 1 and City FM put the story out, and then we take it from there. Do we have it's a very short story though, because it's still running. Ken Ofori-Attah's home raided by individuals in military uniform. A group of individuals in military uniforms raided the residence of former finance minister Ken Ofori-Attah on Tuesday afternoon. The incident took place in Cantonment, while Oforiatta was reportedly out of the country. However, some family members, including his wife, were present at the time. The motive behind the raid remains unclear. Channel 1 news sources confirm that multiple uniformed individuals entered the premises, but it is yet to determine whether anything was taken. Authorities have not issued an official statement on the incident. Now, we know that from the videos that were made available, when the soldiers were coming out, they were not holding anything that they didn't have when they were entering. And we checked that to be sure whether something was taken out, because we had already read the story before this lady sent us the video. So if you look at it, the way the soldiers entered, it looks like that's the same way they came out. So they didn't take anything. The question then is mandates, authority, warrants, all of those things come into play, because when the police are coming to your house to search you, let me have the photograph of the three of them again. When the police are coming to your house to search you, they would normally have a warrant. And in the police context, an individual high court judge can so moto, as they say in law, it means by himself, can so moto issue a warrant for your arrest. A high court judge can so moto and ex parte issue a warrant. Ex parte means they don't have to call you and come to the court. So moto means by himself. He doesn't need a motion. He can just do it upon his own motion when he's told that this person needs to be searched. So the police will normally do that. I believe that even under the rules, I think so, I stand to be corrected, that the Inspector General of Police can issue a warrant. I think so. The Inspector General of Police can issue a warrant, but the CDS cannot issue a warrant. The Chief of Defense Staff cannot issue a warrant over a civilian that they should go and search him. The Inspector General of Police can. So if the Chief of Defense Staff wants to search you with the soldiers, he has to go through the Inspector General of Police. But here's Kisi Ajabe, who walks around with soldiers protecting him. And I'm guessing that he sends soldiers to Ken Oforiatta's house to go and search him. There's a lot more on this story coming up on Thursday. So much more is going to come up on Thursday. Here's the Honorable Ken Oforiatta and his wife, Angela. Honorable Ken, don't worry. We know that you have not done anything wrong. Sometimes you become finance minister, and in your quest to do things, some things can go wrong. Everybody is blaming you about DEP, debt exchange program, collapse of banking, and all that. But in due time, I'm sure posterity will see what you did, if you did something good, and I'm sure that you did something good. So that's Ken Oforiatta. Say a prayer for him tonight, because he's under Kisi Ajabe's radar. Here is Ken Oforiatta and the learned Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams. I'm not sure when this photograph was taken, but this is the Archbishop who I'm going to talk about tonight, because he had a stupendous prayer session in Parliament today, and I'm going to talk about what the Archbishop told the MPs when he was praying for them. That's coming up. So that's the Archbishop, that's Ken Oforiatta, and that is Angela Oforiatta in an old photograph. Pray for Ken. Papa, you got to pray for Ken, you got to pray for your man, because he's under Kisi Ajabe's radar. And Papa, this Kisi Ajabe guy has soldiers around him, and even though he was looking for Ken to answer questions, he was told by Ken's lawyers that Ken is not there. Papa, you know what he did? He sent soldiers to Ken's house. Papa, you got to pray for him. You got to pray for Ken Oforiatta right now. And all Ghanaians got to pray for Ken Oforiatta right now.
When they say drip, now, and this is where I will bring in this headline. This headline says, Nilante has Akufo-Addo's drip.
Drip is not Akufo-Addo's legacy.
So explain to us, because they said this initiative was actually done in Parliament.
Yeah.
Exactly what was it supposed to be?
Let me go back into history. I know during the time of President Mills, there was an attempt.
Okay.
We didn't finish with it, but it came out during John Mahama's era.
Okay.
You remember, I was lucky. I was deputy minister for local government that day. And I went with my minister then, Collins Dauda, to the Tema port to inspect those machines. Okay. And then we immediately started deployment. Just around that time, we had that disaster, if you remember, the June 3rd.
Yes.
Fire and rain disaster.
Yeah.
The machines that were used by engineers and planners to dredge the Odo, clear the debris, you understand, for free. We only bought diesel and oil.
Okay.
And they did that work for free. Were those machines
which were brought in by John Dramani Mahama's government for drip.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Today, one of the tasks before me is immediately to ask for investigation into where those machines went.
You're saying that those machines were not...
Yes, we brought the machines
and
in.
planners.
We brought the machines in 2016.
Okay.
In fact, the process of acquiring the machines was in 2015.
Okay.
We ended up having them in 2016.
Okay.
We deployed them just around June, July.
Okay.
And then went to the regions. They started working the regions.
Okay.
As soon as we lost elections in 2016 and handed over in 2017, those machines are missing.
No, you're talking about the machines that ended up at these assemblies. And I
Yes.
famously.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
They were drip machines.
Okay.
They were brought in specific.
And the new trust be bring appointment. They are okay. They are fine. Medin Kakan baby said they are subject to scrutiny.
Yeah.
Said the year that no son pay no about we don't mini business. Woman do almost say appointee be an answer be a man would do almost say almost suspect say what the bonny and answer be a cost or brand be ya no. We are no a quadra who so see a jama coffee or you know many more. You be jam wako now mind you. Your frowna ye jana coffee. A dear friendly bet wouldn't be peace wouldn't be because one I am a show. You bet me a frown. Well, one call you neka, you know for swamp of Koku ko anu ko yi neka or to microphone to say an lawyer pepe ko ku yi here court 9 o'clock no wa signal say fu no jama
me go jado court don dey cry
senior say necessary
court dey
obi a anya se no anu no krofo we no ye duru no uhunu say vindictiveness
they mean
say omo mini business mo anche omo do omo so omo beche mo agum de manoasi
Jennifer Quinn say mamon fa ni agro NDC for no they mean business man mean business amaba alete
sima me be ka obi ko chima no akwa kosi be said you oti ase no fa yo
enchia
say NPP ba by mu 2016 yeah we need power to above from 2008 bepem 2016 we need power na asem nyina no say ye ba obi a oye corrupt practices a friend say obi a sikasama fa nsase obi a di dwumadi ehia nsa na wosen ko ye due diligence na oye adwuma no wanye ye ba ibetu ase keta ahye keta ahye ne proye right
yes
ene ekofo owura ya waba ben abo eso e friend say di onadamfo ni guy na ode ekura sekete nsase nse ne no friend say
I want to get anas
owura na kete nse ne ma unhu ne
kisi ejaben
wono na sam na make o timi bo obi fugitive ni ade no wono ena ma ye kofa OSP ba ye wo security agencies ye wo Euroko ye wo what do you call it ye wo CID ye wo BBA NIB that time na ye BNI ye wo national security anamboa ake betimi aye sade
strategy mo nyina
ye ba yamfo obi anko ba bia ye ni ma ye hu no wo mo kire sese mo anya ye de ye wo ho ahode ye de be ye asoma kan not as Obama
yeah
you had the opportunity. I'm not saying say yet them nipa ya wode ma ye bro 10 yeah your panel no plus your production team be a potential prisoner it will free fear you go nsan see so ayi musue ne yesa ba ma ne de anya dai empare to so kwa akonto no ayo ne ma yesa be aban ma ne anya dai emma anamboa it will nya akonya no e no nkire say past government no me dey show mo konwa e na mo san wa bem dey show mo konwa so mo nyina abokro no na emom no nanka obi a oye bibi nanka ye hwese enya hwe kura no security agencies ni nyina wo ho owura iba enko ba beboa nanka de nipa ba akompo
man to me and prosecute
oti nipa ba akompo oti me dey cause me a politician unless you don't understand politics when you politics me 27 years makobi makasa 15 years enya na wait man no see before enti mo anya o mo kire mo so mo de ombaye and sometimes when it comes to politicians now we see it as intimidation. Na say ebi the other side is being vindictive.
Yes.
Omojo omansika anamboa.
Sa no moka.
Mo ba ye no opportunity wo ho. Ye kan sasem we kan to obi anya hwe. Afekubo na mfo amini we na ta classroom ko school. Awo mi ama wa na ye wono hwa na me ne ye Wednesday. Many awo na ta class what many more from ye kon ya na di school so ye best of friends. Die be wie no men ka se wunya office obi ye otamfo ye nyina ye Ghana for I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Bana akonya no ho
Ebi so na obi anwia hwe.
Obi anwia bibia satan.
Come on, obia. One to me, they just the presumption is that one to me,
it is said the aquas one last week. March and some catch us a march ye pamphlet and Tony Bimni rolling say to say a workshop and a projections. Jenny Rolisa and it was surprising me. Befre minister befre CEO open formation befre sa na and this in front kwam